The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
And I was like, yes, hi. I was so excited.
Oh, let me say hi again.
Okay, hi.
A guy gets to a point and he asks you to marry him, he really wants to marry you.
Mm-hmm. He ready.
Like he really feels like, you know what, she's the one. She's the one.
You already getting the goods. You got to pay for it. Bring me the ring and get on one knee.
Okay.
Or two.
You need time to observe someone and really get a sense of how well do they treat you, how well do they handle adversity.
You're not the one because you don't have grit, the perseverance. You ain't really want me because you ready to give up. Because I said no. Nah, you shouldn't have asked. But since I said no, now it's your job to stay in the game and try to fight for it.
Boy on 5 Heartbeats when you make the announcement you're going solo at the awards ceremony.
What up, what up, what up? Happy One Eye Shut. Welcome to Topics from the Perspective of 3 Married Couples. You can listen to us at defylifepods.com, iTunes, Spotify, and any of the other popular podcast platforms. In fact, you can now listen to us on Apple Music. Is that correct, Jay? We just picked that up, I think, since the last time that we were on.
We are available, 2 platforms. Audible, we are on, and as well as, you asked me, and my mind just went blank. Audible and
Apple Music.
No, Apple. We've been on Amazon Prime, Amazon. Yeah. So Audible and Amazon.
We are now on Amazon Prime. So we're moving up in the world, doing good things, all thanks to you. Thank you for being devoted listeners for us. Speaking of which, you may have noticed that we were not on for about 3 weeks. And we were not on because, unfortunately, JR's father passed away. So rest in peace, Uncle Tommy. And so we took a little sabbatical just to be with each other, take some time for the family to just have some time to themselves that they needed. And so we want to honor that. And again, rest in peace, Uncle Tommy. You are greatly missed every day. And so, but it's good for us to be back. I missed you guys. I missed our team here. As usual, we spend a little bit of time on a pre-show before, just kind of getting our energy up and just being with each other, right? Because it's been a minute. So I'm grateful for that as well. And so we've got a great show planned for you this evening. The topic is kind of, it can be a little deep. It's one of those topics that has absolutely impacted marriages from the beginning of time. It's been the cause of some breakups, but we'll get to that in a minute. But before we get started, we're going to give the crew an opportunity to say hi to everybody, to check in a little bit. We know you haven't heard our voices in a minute, so we're just going to, go around and tell you how we're feeling and give you the word of the day. We're going to start with, we'll start with Al.
So, you sitting in the class and you just like, dang, I ain't got an answer yet. And the teacher walking around and you're wondering, why is she looking at me? Why is she looking at me? I think she's about to call on me. Oh, no, I think she's about to call on me. That's what I just had a flashback on. So, welcome back, co-hosts. I missed y'all. It's good to be here. It's always good for One Eye Shut day in my life. That's always a good day. My word of the day is dance. That's my word of the day. Mainly because I'm looking at a piece of art that's hanging above my door of 2 people dancing. And it just kind of reminded me of how energy change, lifting, joyful dancing can be. And I was actually recently having a conversation with someone about the club days and how you would leave a club and your shirt would be drenched from dancing, and how the wind blowing on it, how that would just kind of feel uplifting, and you just kind of, on those nights where you had a good night because you danced a lot and the music was just banging, and we were just kind of reminiscing on what because it was definitely one of the reasons I enjoyed my 20s, getting to hang out and dance to good music. So just kind of reminder how much I enjoy the dancing and how much joy it brought me. So that's my word for the day. Dance. Dance more, y'all.
It's funny that you're saying that. I've been thinking the last... It's funny that you're saying that. I've been thinking the last few days, again, because I've had this thought before, that especially since we have a hard time staying committed to any physical activity, right? Like dancing might be a good option for us, that we just have like dance sessions a few nights a week where we just dance hard for 30 minutes. Like great cardio. I'm just saying. Let's put it on the books, Al.
Yep.
All right. Ladine, how you doing today? What word do you have for us?
I am very heavy. Very, very heavy. And just looking to really lift the heaviness from my heart. I know today's 11/11, and for a lot of people it's a reset, and it's a beautiful thing. I have 3 special people in my life that were born today, so happy birthday to my brother G, my cousin Anthony, my homegirl Tawana. Love all 3 of them with all my life. So, but today I'm heavy. My father went into the hospital today. He was diagnosed with COVID a week after we lost my father-in-law, and actually 2 weeks after, between my dad, my stepmom, my little sister, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew, they all have it. They all had it. My father is still testing positive, and he now has pneumonia. And he's been in the hospital he was in the hospital 2 months ago with pneumonia. So just really heavy. I am tired of fighting this shit. And I've experienced a lot of death in the last 2 years of real heavy hitters. And I am spiritually, emotionally, and physically drained. So yeah, that's what's happening over here.
We feel you. We love you. And we send nothing but virtual hugs right at your end.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Absolutely. And so I'll lay off for you a little bit today, Ladine. I'll give you a little bit of a break, I don't know. But hopefully we'll be able to lift your spirits, send you some energy right now that you can use. Whew, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. All right, JR.
Yeah. Before I get to my word, I just want to say this. I said this to my brothers last night, so I want to say this to my wife and my sisters tonight. Thank y'all for all your support. Everything that, the calls, the texts, sharing your husbands with me. Again, when, at times when all I feel like doing was falling down, y'all pick me up. So thank y'all. And appreciate the patience for my listeners. To my wife, thank you so much for being my rock, because this should have been just as hard on you as it has me. So thank you so much. I love you all. So I just wanted to tell y'all that.
Yep.
Love you back, dude.
No doubt. And so, with that being said, my word for the day is controlled. I feel like I'm being tamed. I've been in the bed at 9 o'clock every night for the last week and a half.
Yes!
And that shit is so not me, right? But I started a new job, and I talked about this with Al and Pooh, but I'm in a position, like I'm in a leadership position where I have to kind of set standards, and I'm leading people now, which I haven't managed people in a while. So I have to be there, I want to be there before everybody else is there, so I can kind of set standards. So I've been waking up at 4 o'clock every morning. And it's so not me to like be in them. Like I'm always up early. Usually I'm up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning anyway, but I'm, if I need to go back to sleep, especially over the last few months, I can go back to sleep.
Right.
But now I got to make sure that like I'm rested. So to be in the bed at 9 o'clock every night, I feel like a fifth grader. But it's, so again, I feel like I'm being tamed, but it's kind of refreshing to kind of have a sleep regimen to stick to, because I usually don't have one. So, I'll say that I feel like I'm being tamed. Housebroken.
And it's about damn time.
It definitely seems to have brought a smile to Ladine's face when you started talking about coming to bed at 9 o'clock. You could hear the smile all through the microphone.
No, it's really funny because he's never in bed early. It's to the point, but no, now it's, usually I'm in bed and then he'll come to bed, but now it's like, I come to bed and it takes a little longer to go to sleep because, he's already snoring, and it always takes longer to go to sleep when he's already snoring.
Welcome to my world.
It's all good though. I'm really, it's different, but I'm happy for him because he's truly resting and he's paying attention to himself, and that means a lot. It does.
Good stuff. Keita.
Yes.
How you doing?
My word of today, and definitely to Lady and Jay. I know, definitely send out my prayers to you, girl. Love you both. Situation, because I was in that situation too. It's tough.
Thank you. Love you too.
Yes, we love you too.
Word of today, I have to go with the I guess because we have been talking with the presidential election, that I am proud. That's my okay.
Right.
So many things to talk about. What we're proud of is that, Biden, Kamala, and then also how Black women are getting recognized finally in media. As far as, Black women been, in the social media, they were saying how, we never get recognized and all this stuff. So we are finally getting recognized, how we got our butts up and we voted and we coming out strong. So I'm proud with the presidential election.
Yes, ma'am. All of that good stuff you said.
I think we all have, some level of pride with how things have turned out, and all that other stuff too, because the shit is just crazy to me. Like what is happening is just absolutely crazy. But yes, it is. Did you all hear that we also got our first Black woman brigade commander?
I did not.
No.
Yes. Yes,
That's
it was
dope.
on the news. It's pretty dope. So great things are happening for women of color across the board, and more things are coming.
Mm-hmm.
More things are coming. Thomas,
Yes.
what you got for us tonight?
Man, to be honest, I don't have a word. I don't have a word today. Right now I'm totally blank, but I have a book, man. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And it just feels. So, book, man, it was published in 1972, and
Is it that old?
Yeah, and it just seems like June 16th. Oh, June 16th. Oh, Pac. It's Pac's birthday. Okay, but man, it just seems like I'm having one of those days.
Sorry to hear that. But that's why you're here with us tonight. Because
No
we're
doubt.
gonna help you feel better, because we always do. It's so much love that, you can't help but to get your spirits raised at some point while we are together. So I'm going to say, my word of the day is, I'm just going to say I feel good. Right. It's just, I started out this morning. I took my nephews and my niece to breakfast. That was a good time. And we decided that we are going to start rating the restaurants that we go to. So we're going to start, rotating breakfast places for us to go. And, so the oldest was pretty excited about that. It's just little things, right? But I think I feel good mostly because this is November. I am a Scorpio. My birthday is around the corner. Will be the big 50.
I was about to say, isn't it tomorrow?
Friday.
Oh,
The 13th. Yes. And so, I'm getting ready to be 50, and I feel good about that fact. Like you hear people all the time, like, man, I tell people in a minute, and I am grateful. I am grateful that I've made it 2 days before my 50th birthday, right? That's what I can say right now. But on Friday, I'm going to be like, yo, I'm 50. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope to me. And so I'm looking forward.
Dope.
Yes. I'm looking forward to Al and I are taking a few days and going away, a little weekend getaway. So I am so looking forward to Saturday morning until I just almost can't contain myself. Like, can't wait to get in that car. So I'm just feeling good. Just feeling good. And so thank you, Ladine, for mentioning the date, because I forgot to say, acknowledge that it is Veterans Day. So thank you to all of the soldiers in all of the armed forces. Thank you for your service and doing what you do for us and this country. All right. So on that note, are y'all ready? So we're getting ready to talk about secrets.
I want to. Oh, go ahead.
Please keep your day job. Oh, yes. Yeah. Secrets in the marriage. When is it okay? Is it ever okay? Al?
Is it ever okay, Al? So, I think it is okay. That it really depends on what the secret is. So I don't think you have to be telling your spouse everything unless they ask. But keeping a secret isn't necessarily lying, unless because there's a what do you call it, like a fine print to it. So I mean, I think there's a line. Like, so I mean, I think if you know the person would want to know, and you're keeping that the secret, then that's not being honest.
That is.
What, you trying to answer my question?
I stopped talking. You didn't have to say anything.
You said no.
You could have just kept going with that BS you over there giving. I'm just saying.
I don't like in baseball Once you go across, you swing.
I didn't. But I didn't.
You got to go
cross.
all the way through. You did it.
Nah, I didn't cross. Go ahead.
So yeah. So I mean, generally speaking, I to answer your question, yes, it is okay to keep some secrets, but it just depends on what the secret is.
What do you think, Thomas and Chiquita?
Man. Yeah, man. You don't have to tell everything. What? No. No, but yeah, because
You don't feel anything.
I mean, if it's pertaining to us, per se, then I would say yes. But like I have conversations with, maybe her brother or her cousin, and it's not really a secret. However, it doesn't really have anything to do with it. So, I don't really divulge that. And if I have some type of, conversation with someone and they'd be like, well, hey, Thomas, man, between us, and it could be her family and something about what's going on, and they'd be like, well, this is between us, then I'm going to divulge that information. So, I mean, that's just how that's how.
I'm sorry, you said you are going to divulge or you're not?
Never, no.
I feel like in the beginning of the courting stage, everybody, well, I'm not going to put everybody in it, but you can keep a secret or two, because depending on what the secret is about, if it's about you or something that happened, maybe with an ex or whatever, he don't need to know that. You know what I'm saying? Then that might stop you from, going forward, or he may look at you differently or whatever. So you keep secrets in the beginning. But I think as far as with the marriage, I feel like I'm more transparent than Thomas is. But I feel like transparency is the key.
You're more transparent than me.
So are you saying, Chiquita, that once you get married, there should not be secrets?
No, there should not be any secrets, because I feel like that I'm open to any type of secret that you give me. And, your love should be strong enough, depending on what type of secret it is or whatever it may be. I feel like no secret should be when you become one.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like, I don't know, everything has to pertain with that. I don't know, because it's like, I don't know. No, because maybe I don't want someone else to get the information. Like the other thing, I was like, hey, Keita, such and such. Don't say it to anyone.
No, but we're talking about with the marriage.
It was back with the marriage. With the marriage. Oh, okay. Right.
No, I mean, it could be all of that. Right. We're just talking about secrets in general. So it could include in the marriage, specifically within the marriage, or things outside, whatever that secret is for you.
Well, when it has anything to do with your friends or your mom or family members, then sometimes, if my mom did something crazy, wouldn't want no one to know. I wouldn't be there telling Tom, what happened. That's not going to happen. I'll keep that secret. But as far as with each other, there's transparency.
I just don't think everything has to be divulged. Not like I said, because I guess it's a fine line. Because if it's something that's directly, correlated to us, then okay, yeah. But if someone is coming to me and they're like, okay, just between me and you, even though, that's my wife and we have, an enormous bond, I just feel like what's going on with me and that person is me, what's going on with me and that person. So I guess it's a double-edged sword for me.
Mm-hmm. All right, Glimpse, what about you guys?
Go ahead, Bub.
No, just about to say, Jay, I'm going to let you start this one off.
I mean, I'm pretty much in step with everybody else. I think there are some things, especially when, I don't think being married, negates me from being a confidant for someone else. So if someone comes to me and says, yo, like Pooh said, between me and you, or, I need to talk to you about something, if it's, if it's not my wife's business, if it doesn't affect us, sure, I can keep that secret for someone else. But, also like Ida said, everybody said, like, if it's something that affects our marriage or something that I've done, it's not okay. So, that's pretty cut and dry to me.
Lady? Okay, so yeah, I agree. I totally agree. As long as it's not nothing that you should be saying, or when you tell half of the story, and I know I've done this in my marriage, I might have told a little bit of the story, and I didn't tell everything. And JR would be like, well, that means you're lying, or you lied. No, I didn't lie. That was just something you didn't need to know. That's how, at that time, that's how I felt about it. I mean, we've discussed this topic several times within our marriage.
No, that shit's a lie, but go ahead.
Yes, we have discussed it. You
No,
don't think we've discussed it?
I'm
Oh,
saying,
like, what are you talking about right now?
I'm reiterating the fact that a half truth is a lie. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. So exactly. So of course we've had this conversation in our marriage several times, and yeah, and so I totally get it and I see it now. Before I was just like, nah, I mean, I'm not telling you everything. But no, I get it now. I understand his point of view. I understand it completely. And I understand it on the flip side. Like, I don't want you to tell me no half-ass story. I want to know what happened. I don't want to know later on, oh, you add little bits and pieces at a time and shit. Now, we're not doing that. Tell me what happened. Tell me what it is. Make sure I'm clear and I know. And that's it. And we're good. But, yeah, no. But I agree with Al too. It's like, what is the secret about? Because like there's some stuff he don't need to know, or I don't know.
So that's what I was getting ready to ask you. So you said, I used to. There's just some things that he doesn't need to know, or that's how I felt at the time, or whatever. So are there like not things that people are like, you don't need to know that, and that be okay? That doesn't exist in you all's mind. This is a question, but based on the answers that I've heard, most people would disagree with that. So I'm just kind of throwing it back out there for clarification.
Well, I don't know. Go ahead. Say it again.
Yeah. So are there not situations where you may have the thought he or she doesn't need to know that piece of information, and that be okay?
I guess for me, when I say that, is because JR and I actually lived lives before we were together. Like, and I know most couples do live lives, but some couples get together really young. I know, like, for instance, like both of y'all got together pretty young in college. And so for JR and I, that wasn't the case. So like we had relationships before each other. We lived life before each other. And so that's kind of what I mean. As far as what happens in our relationship, no, I don't think there should be so many secrets. Or
you don't think what? I wish I could see your face right now.
I know.
You don't think what?
No, so I don't think that there should be secrets as far as what has gone on in our relationship during the time that we've been together. I do think that it is my right to know and his right to know. So yeah. But as far as like other stuff that has transpired before we got together, there are things that like he absolutely needs to know. You know what I mean? And then there are things that is just like, no, we're just not even good. And I know that there's plenty of things that I don't need to know that happen in his life, and some things I really don't want to know. So
yeah, and things like that. Like I think there's a difference in keeping a secret and some shit just ain't your business. So like if it's things from, past or present that, that again, like it doesn't affect us. There's no, it's just not your business. And then I don't want to know. Like Lay said, like it's not my business. But if it's something that I need to know or she needs to know, I think that's keeping a secret. If it's something that would affect us. But if it's just stuff that, like you said, just life and has no bearing on our relationship now, that's just stuff that, it's if you want to say it, if you want to tell, you want to divulge that info, it's fine. But if it doesn't affect me, I really don't care to know.
Because I think there's a huge difference between keeping a secret because you're trying to avoid accountability or you don't want to be held responsible for something, and keeping a secret because you just want your privacy. And so I think
Well, I like that, Al. Say it again, Al. Say it again for the people.
the people, not a problem. So there's a big difference between trying to avoid responsibility and wanting privacy. And I think when you are married, to me, like I think one of the myths of marriage is that there's no such thing as privacy. And I think that's a myth. And I think while you need to share because you're sharing your life, there's still, and I think that's for you and the spouse to work out, but ultimately it's your call. But I think that privacy thing is, if that's what you want, I think it should be taken, and it's our right. It's your right for privacy. Exercise it if you feel free.
Wait a minute. I thought you just said that you don't think that privacy is a thing when you get married. And then I feel like you contradicted your statement and said that that it's your right to have privacy in the.
So I think the myth is that you don't get privacy when you're married.
Okay.
Like, to me, that's the myth, that you have to just be, here, I got to tell you everything. No, I got to tell you every thought, every feeling, every time I went to Dunkin' Donuts. No. Now, because to me, you still have right to privacy.
Right.
But,
you still have right to your individuality.
Correct.
Right.
But I think because you have decided to share your life with someone, I think that, you should be willing to share, but I don't think that share doesn't mean giving it all up, is all I'm saying. So you still have the right to exercise privacy in marriage, I think.
So I agree 100% about the privacy. And I think that it makes all the difference in the world why you're not giving whatever the information is, right? So if your reason is, like he said, if you don't want to be accountable, you done did some fucked up shit, then yeah, you absolutely are keeping a secret. And I think that that's wrong. If the reason is something other than like not about you wanting to accept responsibility, I think it can be okay. I don't want to say a blanket statement as in, like it is okay, because like I'm sure there are sometimes it might not be. But I think that it is, and I think that each person should have the ability without being without the partner thinking that it's, a negative thing or, you're lying or, whatever. I think that they should have the discretion, the ability to think this is better for the family. Let's say this is better for the family if you don't know this, right? If you don't know this right now, or sometimes if you don't know it at all. I think it's okay for people to make those types of decisions. Did I hear Keita or somebody trying to chime in?
Yes. So I have an issue with, I'm all about transparency, But Thomas, I was trying to see if some of the other ladies have this issue. So Thomas' mom and myself, we, talk and call each other or whatever. But I feel bad sometimes because she'll talk about something and then she was like, Pooh didn't tell you? Oh, he didn't tell you about that? He tells me nothing when it comes to, it's straight up secret when it comes to anything with his family. And I'm like, dang, I feel real bad because I feel like he's not telling me anything when it comes to family, like business.
Okay, hold on. See, Keita, I feel you on this one because there's just some stuff that JR, I don't even know if he thinks I just don't think that he thinks or he finds some things to even just be relevant. Like that's just basic stuff, or maybe he just doesn't even remember. I don't know what it is, but JR does that.
Can I get an example, not necessarily with names, but get an example of what type of information when we talk about family business, like what would something like that include?
Right. So for me, what I'm saying is just basic stuff. Like the family is having, let's say, a family meeting, or there's a family call, and he'll tell me 10 minutes before the call, there's a family call, or just some random stuff will happen, or my sister-in-laws will be like, oh yeah, well Jay didn't tell you that we was doing this, or oh yeah, well Jay didn't tell you, and no, Jay didn't tell me that was happening. Thank you for telling me. But that's not him necessarily keeping secrets, I don't think.
And I don't think that's what Keita was talking about. Keita.
Well, yeah, it's some of that too. But it is also as far as if something happened or someone did something to someone else, or someone ended up getting sick, or something happened to your brother did this, lost a job. I have no clue what's going on with the family business.
I don't be thinking about it. Once I get done with moms or whatever, if it crosses my mind, I'll say, hey man, this is what happened. But other than I don't.
Even if
a
family reunion, ladies said, if it's a family reunion coming up, I have no clue.
I mean, I must not be planning on going. I don't know.
She wants the tea. She wants the tea, Thomas. That's what she's trying to say. She wants the tea. All right?
Right, but at the same time, now I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to side with Thomas on this one, because from the examples that you gave, Keita, those just sound like gossipy kind of shit, right? And if Thomas ain't a gossiper, then it's not at the forefront of his mind to share with you the shit that's going on in other people's lives.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's not keeping secrets in my mind. That's just
I'm just not a tea spiller.
Who cares? I ain't talking about that shit with nobody.
Talking about the same person, when I get off the phone, he'll say, "What happened?" Come on.
I mean, if you say what happened to me, I'm saying it. But I'm totally not thinking about it. I'm totally oblivious to it. As soon as I get done with mom or whatever, I'm driving home from work and mom get finished carrying on for 25 minutes straight. When I get to my doorstep, shit, I'm done with that. You know what I'm saying? Mom don't carry on about it for 30 minutes.
It could be a number we call. Everybody see something. He won't even tell me that.
Dude, of course I will. Fool, come on, chill out. You wow. Yeah, of course.
So let me ask you, if you ask, I'm not about situations of infidelity, right? I'm really not talking about that, because I think I think we all would agree that it's not okay to keep secrets about infidelity, right? But other stuff. So if you ask your spouse a question, can they say, I don't want to tell you, and that be okay?
It depends what the question is.
Ooh, Gina.
It totally depends on what the question is. And yeah, I can't say no. It's some stuff that's not gonna rock with. And now at the end of the day, I can't make a person tell me, so I might leave the conversation not getting what I want just because it is what it is, but it not necessarily, that's not going to be okay. No.
And I definitely feel like if I ask something, I don't think I'll, roll well with I don't want to tell you, because I'm not gonna ask like what's going, secretly what's going on with people in your fam or such and such, such and such. So if I'm asking something, it's like detrimental to us or you, or so I'm definitely gonna. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm definitely what is it? I'm definitely gonna expect an answer. Because if you tell me, well, I don't want to tell you what's going on with my sister, I'm cool with that. So I mean, what is it? Why are you looking at me like that? Go ahead, Keita. Go ahead, expound on what you got to say.
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay. I'm fine, y'all. I'm fine.
I'm glad you're fine.
I mean,
Right.
I know there are things that are need to know, and I also respect everybody's sense of if someone comes to you as a confidant, then that's some secret stuff but to me, I'm hoping I wouldn't, that's not the type of question I'm gonna push on, like, yo, you got, real talk, I need to know this. So I don't think I'm gonna want you to go into that bank or that piggy bank of secrets. So outside of that,
right,
then I feel like if I want to know, I think I should get that.
I feel the same way, Al. I'm hitching to your wagon.
What up, Pooh? Always welcome to ride with me, homie.
It's kind of hard to me, like, to answer some of these, like, without specifics, right? But as I listened to you talking out, like, one of the things that came to mind was, what if it's a private thought? Like, are spouses not allowed to have private thoughts?
So again, I am a person that's standing up for privacy. So at the end of the day, I understand why a person might say, nah, I ain't telling you. But your question was, is it okay if I ask? So yeah, I'm gonna understand why you say no, but that don't mean I gotta be okay when I walk away. I'm just gonna be like, I can't believe that she didn't fucking tell me that shit.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
And people gonna be like, yo, dog, I thought you said, yeah, I know, but I want to know though. But it's a private whatever, but I want to know. And it ain't okay. It ain't.
Anybody else want to chime in?
I'm not the type to ask a lot of questions anyway. So it really, I'm not offended. If I ask and you don't want to tell me, fine, I'll move on. Now, if I already know the truth and I ask you, and then you tell me, like, yeah, then we got a problem. But if I'm just being curious, and I don't get an answer, then okay, I don't get an answer, so it doesn't really bother me.
So, so we talked about considering the reason why, right? The secret might be kept, and when it might be okay, right? So if it's not about personal responsibility, if it is about personal responsibility, then that's probably not okay, or avoiding personal responsibility. What about the motive behind the question? Should that be considered in whether or not there needs to be, or an answer is required, or does it change your rules around secret? Like, where does it play?
As the person keeping the secret, or the person asking the question? Meaning, if I know the motive of me asking is just some bullshit, should I not get too upset? Or meaning, if I'm the person keeping a secret and I know you asking me on some bullshit, should I just be like, nah, I ain't telling you just cause so and so want to know? You don't even want to know. Your mama want to know. Hell no, I ain't telling you. Shit like that. Which one is it?
Well,
both of them.
You real animated tonight.
I'm trying to pump up Lake Dean with some energy.
Wow.
This is great. This is great. I love Al. I love Al.
Animated Al.
I meant, I mean, it could be either, right? But I just meant in terms of like while we are deciding or talking about whether or not it's okay, and we said, right, that it depends on the why for the secret. So I'm just saying, where's the conversation on it depends on the why for the question. So if I'm asking a question like just because I'm just being nosy, I'm just being like just a busybody, just I'm trying to get the tea. And you like, nah, like really, Gene, I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and so I'm asking the question from a place of, you know, low vibration, from a place of messiness, from a place of, you know what I'm saying? Like, should that matter in how we determine who's more right? The secret keeper or the questioner?
That's mad funny. That's a good question.
Yeah.
No, for real. Because I'm sitting here, okay, because like JR is never going to ask me a question like that. Like he's just not like a messy tea wanderer or like he's just now me, I start asking questions and he does that. Yeah, like he'll be like, why are you even asking me? Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? What's happening right now? And I hate it when that happens because, you know, so who doesn't like a good tea sometimes? I love some tea sometimes.
Well,
I love some gossip sometimes. And even when I but even when I'm operating, you know, and being my best self and all of that, I need a little moment of tea. So I hate sometimes when he doesn't want to engage in it because when he does, it's so exciting. I love it. I get all happy.
Well, it's usually when
it's like I just want to make a cup of tea.
So, I mean, usually when that happens, it's because we just acting silly and we clowning somebody. You know, something's funny, but I'm just not I'm never been big on gossip, and I'm not a tea spiller like that. So, and my wife don't give me much opportunity to keep secrets. Like even for instance, the last few months when I'm in my job search, every time I get a call, I couldn't hang up the phone without she's working during the days from home. She would literally peek her head out the door like, what they say, what they talking about. I'd be like, damn, how you even here? How you even know this? I was outside. I'd be outside on the porch. And she'd be like, yo, what they say? What they talking about? And so my wife don't give me opportunity to keep secrets like that, really. Like my phone ring. Who that? What they talking about? So, you know.
Well, I'll be on it like that. It's just when it has something to do with the job or something, and I was interested. I want to know. Don't be doing me like that, like as if I'm in your every phone call and stuff.
I mean,
if you in my face and your phone's right there, yeah, who's that? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? Yeah, I'm asking. Absolutely.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying. So in those moments when I know, like, it ain't important, like, I know you asking out of pure nosiness. So I tell you all the time, like, you say, who that? And I say, somebody who called my phone. Or somebody, like, it ain't no secret keeping. It just ain't your business. Stay out my phone. Unless you want to pay the bill.
So if she pays the bill, then she has complete access to your phone.
Absolutely. She can have it.
Not serious about this anyway.
I'm saying that's a topic for another.
Yeah,
because I got lots of things.
Like, keep your phone. I don't even want my own phone. Oh my god.
Okay, whatever.
And it's not even a matter of stay out my business. Like, you know, it's just really, to me, like Al said, sometimes you want to feel like you have at least like the idea or the myth of some kind of privacy. So to like have anybody I don't care if it's my kid, anybody. It's like when my phone rings, you looking all at my phone. I just don't. I don't do that. I don't appreciate it. And so it's more of a damn, Keita. I gotta take your role on this one. It's more of a pet peeve for me than I'm going back to pet peeve, but it's more of just a little nuisance for me. It ain't that serious, but it's just one of those things. You like, it just bothers you a little, but nothing crazy.
So I want to go back to something that Al said, because this thing is the real thing, right, in our relationship, and not a thing in a bad way, but it exists and we disagree. So I'm just curious to know what you all think. He spoke on it earlier, and he said, if you think the other person wants to know and you don't tell them, then you're lying. Do you all think? What do you think about that statement?
What do you? So I'm trying to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So if I think she wants to know, like, has she verbalized that and said, "Tell me," and then I'm just refusing to, or is there's like some kind of throwing hint? I don't get it.
No, it's in the decision-making process, right? In that moment of, do I tell or not? So while you're thinking about, should I give this information? If in that thought process you think, well, yeah, Ladine would want to know. But then you make the decision not to tell her. Is that a lie? No, sorry. He didn't say a lie. Dishonest. You're being dishonest.
I don't think it's necessarily well, it is. I guess it is dishonest. But again, I think it's levels to that shit. Like, all right, so some shit just don't matter. Like, and then I think that sometimes it ain't that big of a deal. Like, if my wife orders something or goes shopping somewhere and she thinks she done brought it into the house on some secret hush shit, I know she done went shopping and bought some shit. Well, I know Amazon been knocking at my door. It ain't that big of a deal for me to say what you done went and bought. If she decides not to tell me, or if she thinks she done bought some shit on the hush, like, I'll let her think she got away with it if that's what was her her motive. But it's not that big of a, like, so in that decision for her to say, I know my husband would want to know, but it's not that big of a deal, things like that to me. So I'm sure she just probably don't want to hear my mouth about spending money, which I can understand that. But if it's, if it's some other, like some bigger shit, but either way, it's dishonest. It's just some shit just don't matter to me. If that makes sense.
That is not being dishonest. If I buy some shit and I just didn't tell you that I bought some shit, that's not being dishonest. I just didn't tell you I bought some. That's different.
Right. All right. Well,
I don't think it's different, but I also don't think it's dishonest. Keita and Thomas, what say you?
Yes, I think it's dishonest. Anything is dishonest to me because I've already said I'm transparent over here. Okay, I'm more going towards lady side. Like, I need to know. It's not that I want to know the juice or the gossip, but that's a form of conversation, I think.
I want to know the juice and the gossip too. I ain't never gonna front.
Give me everything that I'm asking for, and then you're gonna sit there and tell me no, but you think I should know, but then you're not gonna tell me. I don't like that.
I don't know. I'm just not into it.
Thomas, dishonest or no?
Is it dishonest? What? I missed the beginning. I ran and put the kids to bed. What's dishonest? I'm sorry. I ran and put the baby in the bed. What's dishonest? I missed that part.
If you have some information that you know Keita would want to know, and you're deciding whether or not you're going to tell her. If you decide not to tell her, do you think that that's dishonest?
Not if it doesn't pertain to her. I don't think it's dishonest. If it doesn't,
What if it does pertain to her?
Oh, when yes. Does it? I mean, directly, like it's something about her, or because I haven't been in a situation where it's something with the fam and it's not really about her, but she's like kind of like in it, but indirectly.
What was that?
I can't tell you.
Dishonest.
But
dishonest.
Directly, yeah.
That wasn't dishonest. He told you he can't tell you.
You know, directly, but like indirectly, and the person like don't say it. I mean, I'm a stickler for that, but
But I'm just like a dude. Like if you're not telling me this, and then we had a family reunion, and that person done talked shade about me, and I'm smiling up in their face, thinking it's all good, but really it's not.
No, it ain't gonna be no shade. It ain't gonna be none of that. Cause why the hell they talking about that to me and it's you? Cause then that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
If you dogging my wife, you know, you definitely need to check me about that.
Well, I have a problem with labeling it dishonest simply because there was no questions asked. Right. So if you ask me a question and I lead you to believe something other than the truth, then to me that's dishonest. But if I choose not to share something with you, just because you want to know, doesn't make it my obligation to tell you. You just want to know. There's no, you just want to know. So because I'm not, obliging you in your desire to know, I'm dishonest, that just doesn't make sense to me.
For me, I think when you're deliberately withholding information that you know this person would want to know, that's just not honest. And even, you're asking, the question wasn't asked, you're asking yourself the question. You're asking yourself a question. Would he want to know? Yep. Am I going to tell him? Nope. That's not honest.
That's not the question I'm asking myself, number one. That's not what I'm asking myself.
She's asking the question, how can I get away with this shit? No, I'm just kidding.
I might be asking that question. I definitely not asking the other question. What really asking the risk factors here. Damn anything else. No, but seriously. And I just think, I really do. I think that it is I think it's a communication skill to determine what should be said and what should not be said, and when it should be said and when it shouldn't be said. Everything is just not meant to be said, and definitely not everything when somebody wants it said. Just because you want it right then doesn't make that to be the right time for you to get that information.
So that none of that's honest. So while it might be great communication skills, but it doesn't speak to whether or not it was an act of honesty or not. And so to me, when you talk about, to me, it's just not honest. If you're withholding information, somebody would want to know. That's not
and
honest.
again, I will once again agree to disagree. Because it is a communication skill. I think it's a relationship. I just think it has many levels, and you got to know when.
And some might say marriages last by people not being honest all the time. I think that is another myth of marriage that you got to be honest all the time. I think people last longer when you're not being honest all the time. Me personally. But it doesn't speak to, I can still own it to say that wasn't honest in that act. Even if it was for the better of the marriage, it wasn't an honest act.
I understand what Al's saying. I do agree with I think that withholding information, and that's the part that my husband would always tell me, that the withholding the information in the relationship, and I want to say that'd probably be like for any relationship, not just your marriage, but any relationship. You withholding stuff from anyone that you're in a relationship with that is something that you think that they would want to know, or that they would need to know, or that might change the way that they move in any situation. I do think that it's important for them to know. But
so, okay.
Otherwise, you're being dishonest. And if you are, then that's something you gotta live with, and that gotta sit on your heart if you holding secrets and stuff.
You mentioned if it changes the way a person moves, right? So let's say we'll use the family reunion situation that Keita just spoke of, and the person was throwing shade somewhere along the line, and Keita didn't know it. And Thomas gets wind of the shade, and he makes a decision in the moment. You know what? I'm not going to tell Keita, because Keita going to slap this girl in her face as soon as I tell her. So is it wrong for Thomas to withhold that information?
The question is it honest? We're not talking right or wrong, because I think that's...
Well, in my mind, dishonest is wrong. Like, you can't separate that to me.
Okay. I mean, but to me, it is. Like, you can be dishonest for, again, to me, what might be the betterment of that situation. Like, if it's like, you know what, I'm trying to avoid the drama, so I'm going to lie to her right now.
I'm not lying. He
Okay,
didn't lie.
I'm not going to be honest with you right now because I'm trying to think bigger picture. So to me, that is the right thing. It's not right or wrong. And the bigger picture, I think the right thing to do is I had to be dishonest to get you out of that. But it's still dishonest.
I agree with that.
Right. And honesty is not always right.
That's my point.
So even though they can be interchangeable, they're not mutually exclusive, is what he's saying. So, like,
I like that too.
You're gonna feel like, well, no, you withhold the information from me, beating the girl ass, but you was real dishonest at that point. Like, you hurt me because I didn't know right then, because I probably wanted to beat her ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I guess my issue, and I get it, right? So it's about you can do something dishonest for the right reason or something, and I have a problem with calling it dishonest, though. I guess because of what comes along with someone being considered dishonest, right? Like, that is not a positive characteristic. And I just feel like when you take that energy of claiming that thing as dishonest, like, your whole perspective shifts on it.
Oh my
and so
God, I know what you're saying.
You're not thinking, oh, she did it for the right reason, she's being dishonest. All you're thinking is, damn it, she's being dishonest. She's being dishonest again. And so that word just paints the whole thing, like you go into it negative.
I get that.
It doesn't just paint it, but like you said, Gina, when you accept that you were being dishonest, and when you accept that energy into the perspective, into your personal perspective about your actions and what you were doing, and when you say, oh shit, I was being dishonest, not right, not wrong, or indifferent, but when you actually tell yourself that also is something that, like, when you got to look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, oh shit, I was being dishonest, that's a different story. It's like it's a game changer. It totally shifts. It doesn't just shift the situation, but it shifts It shifts the way you look at yourself. It shifts the way you identify with yourself, and then it does shift the way your spouse identifies with you.
That's true
Right.
for both people.
It is, but only because of the energy we attach to the word.
Thank you.
Right.
It's because of how how we perceive it and how we've processed dishonesty as automatically bad. And it's not necessarily true. It's rare that it is.
Right.
But again, it's an attachment that we've placed on that. Same way we attach energy to money and everything else. It means what we attach to it.
People want to be truthful and people want to be honest
Right.
individuals.
But
And
but it don't feel good when a kid tells you, "Damn, you fat." They being honest, but it ain't good.
Right, but the point is that when you look at yourself as being a dishonest person inside of your marriage, or you tell yourself, I haven't been truthful, because you and your spouse, whatever, you have the conversations and you're like, damn, I haven't been truthful, or maybe I haven't been honest. Saying that, because to me, being dishonest is not being truthful, right? That's the same thing to me.
Correct.
So if I'm not being truthful, that's like, damn, what?
That makes you, oh my God, imperfect. Oh my God, it
And
makes
it's
you
not.
human. Oh my God, we made choices that sometimes you have to do something that's not perfect. It is what it is.
Right, and it's really just information. Like Al said, you're human, and sometimes you're gonna be imperfect. So, in that moment, we do attach, and I'm not disagreeing that you don't attach a negative connotation to it, but really all it is information. You're telling yourself in that moment, I was being dishonest. That's just information for yourself, and chances are, if you have to look at yourself in the mirror about some form of dishonesty, it was for a wrong reason. If you have to really consult yourself, it was for the wrong reason. That's just how, chances are it was for the wrong reason if you're consulting yourself about
Right,
it.
but no.
Yes and no.
Right, because sometimes I think it's that you might not realize that you were being dishonest in a situation, and until the conversation comes up with you and another party, and you realize that oh shit, maybe me not saying that made me dishonest, then it's like, I don't know.
Right, that's what. Right, even keep in mind what Al's saying. He's not mentioning intent, and he's not mentioning emotion. He's mentioning the sheer definition of dishonesty, and that's just information. And if
that
you
you're
have
withholding.
right, and so if you've made a conscious decision to withhold information that you later have to consult yourself about in the mirror, it's probably because it came from the wrong place. That's all I was saying. And even if you didn't intend it to in the moment, later on when you have to go back and look at yourself in the mirror, you realize, damn, that came from a bad place.
Go ahead, Gina. You tried to say something.
Yeah, good.
I'm just saying that it's equal for both. Right. So as you look at yourself and you attach whatever negative emotion to dishonesty and you internalize that, all of that, that is happening also for the person that is calling you dishonest. Right? It is likelihood that that person has the same negative energy attached to that word. And so when they're calling you that word, they're labeling you and having all of that negativity in the same way that you do for yourself.
Right.
And so that's all
Absolutely.
I'm saying. Is that
I agree.
It's just injecting. And while I agree with you, like all word, whatever.
Yeah.
The word is what it is. And most of us do, whether we should or not, most of us do attach negative energy to the word dishonest.
Right. Yeah, we do. And which is usually why people are trying to avoid responsibility when it comes to owning up to it. And which is why we had to separate that question, the first question, is because usually when you're being dishonest, most people don't want to take accountability for it until there's no way out of it. It's the whole point of telling the lie in the first place or keeping the secret in the first place. So when it gets to that point and you have to take accountability for it, yeah, there's a lot of negative connotation attached to it. But it is what it is at that point. You got to ride with fate.
Fate.
Which is kind of how we came to this topic. Ladine was sharing with us, I think it was her cousin or niece or something. One of the listeners texted Ladine and gave the question. It was something like, secrets, how long do you hold? Do you tell or do you wait for fate, or something to that effect? And so we got to thinking, that's a pretty good subject for us to talk about. So
question for y'all. Like in general, because I know some things you'll go further with, but like with your spouse and knowing everything you do about your spouse, how far are y'all willing to go before you just give up and tell the truth?
All right.
Like knowing how far your spouse in particular will push and dig to find out the truth. How far are you willing to go before you just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna tell you?
It depends on what that thing is. Who paying me the most to keep the secret? Yeah. I'm just saying, how many lives might potentially be lost?
Right. Like, come on out,
as a
OJ. They
result?
got us, man. Come on out.
I'm
She got
just
us.
saying,
So I'll lead then, since y'all just laughing. So, I learned again. I break our marriage down into chapters. So I learned in the first chapter of our marriage that keeping secrets just ain't worth it because it builds so much resentment from my wife. And usually it was just shit that didn't matter. So, and usually it just came from the point of just wanting shit to look good from the outside. And so I've learned that, just swallow this pill. I'm gonna chew on it and swallow it, and it ain't gonna taste good. But I'm just gonna chew this shit up and spit it out, and let her have what she's asking for, and I'm gonna deal with what comes with it. And usually, like most times when you're trying to keep something, the result is not as bad as you thought it was gonna be. So I've learned to just tell the truth the first time.
Yeah, and I don't. If I'm asked, I say it, but it's like things that I don't say or I'm not asked, so I don't get out there and volunteer what was said to me or what's going on. If I'm asked, I'll pretty much say I would probably give it up. I would give it up, or I would. I don't know. So I guess I'll stay with the I don't know up until maybe maybe a few years later or something.
I hear you in a few years. Just ride it out. Yeah. But hey, Thomas, you ain't really riding nothing out because your mama telling Keith.
But I don't even realize that that's a secret, so I'm not even thinking about that being a secret.
You probably don't know.
She'll just wake me up, mad early in the morning. Why you ain't still me? What are you talking about? And I was like, oh yeah, we are doing that. Yeah, I was gonna say something about you ain't say. What's the whole big thing, man? I don't be thinking about it.
Ladine and Al, y'all gonna answer Jay's question?
I'm gonna go last. It's like calling shotgun. I called it.
I'm last.
So wait a minute. I gotta get the question again, Jay. Good.
All right. So for you, knowing me and who I am, or how hard I'll go after the truth when I'm in bloodhound mode.
Oh God, no, he got the no.
Right. So how far are you in this present moment today, Ladine? How far are you willing to go to protect that secret, and how long you gonna ride with it?
He got the no right away, y'all. Woo! He gonna go for the jugular. He going for everything. He got the no. So yeah, no, he got the no. He got the no. There's no hiding. There's no protecting the secret. It's not going down, son. So yeah, there's no. I can't. And I'm not a good liar, and he knows that. So.
Yeah, it's usually because if I'm asking, I'm asking for a reason. Usually, you know that.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not going down in this house. Anyway, Al, you next.
So I think that my wife is not a bloodhound like that. I think earlier, Al, I would have said, man, ride it out, lie, hold it to yourself, don't tell nobody. I think as I've gotten older and learned that what you said, Jay, I think is the point, in that telling the truth and answering a question is a lot easier of your choices than trying to conceal, deny, lie, and then telling it. How many years later, Pooh? You said 2 years later? Telling it whatever you got to tell it. I think it's better to just...
a few years later.
I think it's better to tell than just get it out the way and own it and deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
If it's consequences and things like that, if it's something like that,
it's always consequences, man.
Don't get it twisted.
Right. There are always consequences.
I'm not even thinking about it like that because I don't even know what really secrets that'll, you know what I'm saying? That'll be that it would be that. I mean, because like I'm not withholding anything maliciously or anything like that. So I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think JR is way better at holding stuff than I am. Like he could keep a poker face. I can't keep a poker face. And I think that he's way better at holding a secret for years, way better than I am. Or that was the story then, that's going to be the story now. Even if that's not the truth, that's still the story.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I think he's way better at that than I am. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, yeah, I agree with that, but I think that's a byproduct of our personalities, though. Like I'm more even keeled in all situations than you are. Even watching football, I'm more even keeled than you. So I keep a poker face with everything. So again, I don't think it's anything malicious. It's just I think it's a byproduct of how we express ourselves. Now, I think so. For a while, I misinterpreted my wife saying I'm a terrible liar with I don't lie.
They're not the same.
They are not the same.
JR, what are we doing right now?
No, because
what's going on?
No, it's exactly what you're talking about. So you brought this up, so I'm expanding on it. So the difference that I had to learn is that it doesn't mean that she won't tell a lie. She won't tell a half truth. It's that she can't hide it. She doesn't have a poker face. So that's all I was doing, was explaining what you were saying and how I had to learn what you meant by that, or learn. I don't know if you meant it that way, but I actually had to learn the realness of that statement. That's what we're doing here.
Okay. So what is the realness of the statement? She's a bad liar?
Yeah, right.
She's a bad liar, but she's a good half-truth teller.
No, there's a difference in her saying I'm a bad liar and I don't lie. Those are two different statements. I misinterpreted that statement as I don't lie. And she was bad. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You're bad.
Right.
Okay, so the answer to the question for me is, like Al, there was a time where, I mean, I'm taking it to the grave. I don't care what you say. Which might be one of the reasons why when Training Day came out, y'all remember that movie, Training Day, with Denzel Washington? He said, it ain't what you know, it's what you can prove. Nigga, you got to prove shit out here before I feel anything ain't going to do it. I have since matured, and I value my husband so much more now, and I understand what my roles and responsibilities are. And so now it's just like, yeah, whatever. You asking? Okay. Go for it. Yeah. So, all right, y'all. I think we have come to a great point in this conversation that we can put a pause in it and say goodnight to our listeners. I think the moral of tonight, the biggest lesson learned tonight, is if you're going to lie, be committed to your lie.
Gina, I can't
Own it.
For the whole marriage, stop playing with it.
Hey. On that note, we're going to say goodnight. We will see you next week. Same time, same channel.
Peace.
Night, y'all.
Peace.
We're told that greatness is exceptional, what it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life Gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.